All right. I think we're going now. Hey, hey, hey. Well, hello, hello. How's it going? uh just going live now. Just getting set up, ready to stream, doing the stuff, you know, doing all the stuff. Um so this is my first time live streaming. I just wanted to give it a try. I've I've attempted to get into YouTubing in the past, and it I was not the right person for YouTubing at the time. I've had a lot of you know personal issues about myself, about kind of just insecurities about being on camera and all the very many different things, and the problem with thinking about people, thinking about my opinion, stuff like that. But I'm starting to stream now, just giving it a shot, not trying to do it anything seriously, so I'm just kind of going at it. Sorry for the glasses and the reflection. I'm hoping to get a whole setup and get a better look in it, and hopefully not have to need these glasses for too long. Maybe get some contacts or new set or something. But uh so I know you're here to watch the Pokemon stuff, so this is a big topic for me. Now, in my life, I'm not a terribly massive fan of of turn-based strategy games. Now I love the classics, things like Final Fantasy VII, Chrono Trigger. I have even, but the thing is that unless the story is just incredible or that it had a place in my childhood, I didn't entirely get into turn-based strategies. I was more involved where I wanted a button to be an action by my character at immediate press. I wanted an action game, an action RPG, or some sort of physical, beat 'em up kind of a game. I'm more like that player. But Pokemon had a special place because it gave me a reason why I was doing turn-based strategy. I wasn't just normal turn-based strategies turned me off because I'm supposed to be this character, but then I'm sitting back telling this character what to do and he's just doing it. Um, instead of me properly controlling and every manipulating every single movement and everything, it kind of took me off of it and like, okay, this isn't me. This is a story of somebody else. Whereas Pokemon, it gave me a reason to be the trainer, and I got to be commanding my Pokemon to do things, to take action. So it gave me sense to the whole thing. And so Pokemon's been a deep rooted part of my childhood and my life growing up. Sorry, voice is a little sluggish today. Um, so on to this. What I'm hoping from the stream. So we haven't had a ton of Pokemon Directs. We've had a few in the past. I know with like Pokemon Go and the various things announcing the new games, Pokemon Let's Go, and then also Pokemon Sword and Shield. This came as a surprise to me to come so soon after the last games came out. And I know they came out in November, and that's, 3 months before, but this this kind of caught me by surprise. And I know they've got a few things that they could announce and a few things that people are speculating that they will announce. And what I'm thinking, like, new games, I don't yeah. All right, let's go to the more reasonable side of things. So they said they're going to be talking about more Sword and Shield stuff. And you think, well, the games are already out. What more can they be? Well, this is a full console game, and what more console like of a version can you have? Can you have than DLC or add-ons and expansions? I know that they could have done that with the 3DS versions or the handheld versions, but not as much, not to the full extent that a console game gets. Like think about like Monster Hunter World. They literally released a game and then released an expansion that's equal to, if not larger than, the game beforehand. And so it has a lot more opportunity to grow. And then there's things like Xenoblade. They expanded it immensely with the I can't think of names right now. You can tell I don't play Xenoblade that much because it's another sort of turn-based, sort of action. I haven't gotten into it yet. I don't know if I'd like it, so I kind of steer clear to that one. And I'm a huge Smash Bros. Fan. I love Smash Bros. That's my kind of action game. I'm not competitive or anything, but I love it because of the legacy it creates. Now, I'm more of a legacy player. I don't get into things to be like super hardcore competitive. No. I'm like, okay, this game is setting up a precedence that changes the way the industry thinks or the way that industry does, or it just takes a step to the side, or this just has such an amazing story that I can get behind the characters. And Smash Bros. Is one of those games that set a precedence for Nintendo to have this game where anything can cross over. Like, games on their platform can all cross over. And with Ultimate, anything can cross over to the extent of maybe, getting Sony to actually be involved. So with Pokemon, I hope that we get expansions to the game. And I know, my opinion, I know it was a very controversial topic about Pokemon Sword and Shield when they initially launched. They had a hard time with people's personal reviews because they chose to leave out the national dex. And that leaves out a lot of fan favorite Pokemon. And like my friend, he's a huge Cubone fan. And he was kind of marred by the fact that Cubone wasn't going to be in the game. And it kind of hurts you, and I understand why it hurt a lot of people, especially since the last game introduced a whole new variation to the evolution of Cubone. And it's like, oh man, they just created this. Of course they're going to involve it. And then it just didn't show up. That's rough. It's really rough. So, but the fact is that no matter what decision they make, I understand that a company is a company, and the people making a game are people that are putting forth a lot of effort to make a game. And they're working with whatever budgets that are given to the company or produced budgets. And in Pokemon, they've been making Pokemon nonstop for a long time. And it feels like they could have launched this game with National Dex. I won't defend them on that. I understand that National Dex probably was a precedence that could have been set forward, and that they had models and they had the movements already made, and it could have jumped forward from the 3DS to this, and the movements weren't all, the step forward we were hoping for. But Pokemon Sword and Shield is still a fun game. I'm playing Sword myself, and it when I started the game, it felt very much the same as Pokemon does. It started out with being a trainer, going on a quest, being on this very, very specific path. And I started to get bored with it because it's like, well, I just, maybe get onto another game, get my fill of action RPG or a beat 'em up or something. But then the moment I walked into the open world aspect, the wild area, that gave me a new perspective on what these games could be, the potential of it. And yes, a lot of you will be like, well, it's not the potential, but what they should have done. And yes, this whole game could have been one large wild area. But the fact is that this company is building by steps. They're taking what they can do, and they're learning what they can do and what this new medium, this new powerful console can do for their game. And they took a step. And the wild area is one of the greatest additions to a Pokemon series ever. The fact that I walked into the wild area and immediately ran into a level 26 Onix made me so excited. Even though the fact I couldn't catch him until I got a few more badges, I was hyped. I wanted to fight that thing and see if I could beat it at any point. It was kind of like a boss battle for me. And then you got to the actual boss battles, the raids. And when I first got to the the whole light in the sky and going in and fighting the Gigantamax Pokemon or the Gigamax or it or the Dynamax, that's what I'm looking for. Um, it it was a really cool like I wasn't when I first saw it I was why would you do that if you had mega evolutions? And that was another exclusion I think they should have absolutely put in this game. Um, but the Dynamax, I'm like, okay, they're filling a niche that some people enjoy. I like watching Godzilla movies, and there's some heavy reference to Godzilla and the King of Monsters universe. But when I got into the game and I got to fight these Pokemon, it was a whole new experience. And the fact that I could partner up with 3 other friends and do it kind of like a raid in an MMO, that was an experience I wasn't expecting from this kind of game. And it caught me way off guard and actually very happily like caught me off guard. So I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it. Um, and then the fact that you can just get these and also building your Pokemon stats. I know that was introduced in Pokemon Let's Go, but Let's Go was a very narrow game. I mean, yes, I am a Gen 1. You know, I played from Gen 1 and I love they're they're by far the best designs. I mean, there are some in later generations like Lucario. He is amazing. I love Lucario. But the first generation had some of the quintessential designs. And the game being just focused on the first generation was a good throwback, but not the step forward that I was hoping for. It introduced the whole wild Pokemon walking around, being able to see them everywhere. But this was a decent step for me. I enjoyed having the Dynamaxing and the Gigantamaxing and having this massive battle and raiding with friends. Now, I hope that they add more of the national decks. I just if they gave me expansions free or paid for just a little bit, you know, if it's overwhelmingly expensive for a national dex that we should have had in the game, I'd say that's a very very poor move on their point, but I understand why they'd want to do it. But if they introduced it as free updates or just like $2 to $5 for this expansion of this region in your national dex, I'd be okay with it. I mean, it's supporting a company that I love. Not just a company, but the people that make a game that I love. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Pokemon companies getting too expanded and they're just whittling people's money away." Well, it's company decisions. The people making the game are very dedicated to their job. They love making these games. And you can tell in the designs of their Pokemon and the way that they step boldly forward and doing these new things. They like to do new ideas. So I give that to them. So far as new games that they could announce, I mean, I'm sure they'll talk about Pokemon Home. I mean, that's not a given, but I would assume they would. In Pokemon Home, we expect to be like a Pokemon Bank for the Switch. But if it ended up being like Pokemon Sims, where it's just like, oh, it's a home for your Pokemon and they interact and they do these random things, I think that'd be amazing. I would love it. Um, other than that, I know a lot of people are hoping for the Sinnoh region, those games to be remade like they've done before, with some of the past games, Alpha Red, and then I think I'm getting names mixed up. You can tell I'm early morning right now. But I could see those being announced, but at this point I don't see the whole reason why they would do that. The game, your newest games just came out. there is some itch for the national decks, but would you take that itch away from your new game by giving them the older game that has only that portion of it? Like, would you remake a game and introduce more of the decks into that, or would you just have the Pokemon that were in that generation and just kind of stifle people through that? Or would you just expand the games that you came out with that are a good size, really well made game? Oh, we're getting started. Let's get over here.
Pokemon Direct. I'm Ishihara from the Pokemon Company.
All right.
In today's broadcast, I'd like to touch on 2 topics. Let's get started with the first topic. Have a look at the following footage.
2006. Oh, they are doing remakes. Wow. Huh. Oh no, Mystery Dungeon. It's Mystery Dungeon. Are they remaking Mystery Dungeon? It's a full-on remake.
Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX.
DX. It's kind of a cel-shaded design. I have some friends that absolutely love these games. Okay, that was another point I was going to get to, is that the Mystery Dungeon games could come back in some way.
Rescue Team DX.
That's cute. I love that. I love the cel-shaded design. It makes it fit with the old design, and then yeah.
It's been about 15 years since Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team, and Blue Rescue Team were released for the Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance systems in Japan. But now they will gain a new life as a Nintendo Switch
So it's
title.
both of them together.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX will be released March 6, 2020.
Wow.
What's more, we'll release a demo version on Nintendo eShop, available later today.
Cool,
You'll
cool.
be able to carry over your save data to the full version of the game once purchased, so please take this opportunity to get a sample of the fun.
They've done that before.
Now, for the other topic, I think we'll ask Game Freak to share it with you. Mr. Masuda, Mr. Omori, it's all yours.
Hello everyone, I'm Masuda from Game Freak.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, and I'm Amori, also from Game Freak.
We hope everyone has been finding something to enjoy in the latest entries to the Pokemon series, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, since their release last November.
So this is the new
Our
information.
goal is always to deliver lively new adventures that delight Pokemon trainers around the world.
We did our best to fill these titles with fun activities so that our players could have a fulfilling experience.
More events, more activities to do.
And the Galar region is a vast one.
It's pretty big.
You've had many new discoveries and fun encounters along your adventure.
Those guys, we ran into them.
We've been thinking about how much we'd like it if everyone's Pokemon adventures could go on even longer, with more to dig into and new discoveries to explore.
Is it a map expansion?
We've been working on plans for some time, in fact. This is why we at Game Freak are now developing the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass. Downloadable expansions for the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield games that will be available for purchase from Nintendo eShop.
So it is an expansion, but what kind?
Until now, we've sometimes released new titles set in the same region as previous games,
Yeah.
such as Pokemon Platinum version or Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon.
So they're addressing the remakes.
This expansion pass will be different from those games. You'll be able to set out on new adventures using the save data you're already playing with.
So you don't have to start the game over.
We're in the thick of development now, but we've prepared some footage for you so you'll be able to at least get a feeling for what
Okay.
the experience is like.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Hit me. Come on. Hit me.
Please have a look.
Okay, that's the game. the start of the game. That was... They are working on more Pokemon. Not new, but like expanding the decks. Unless that Pokemon's... Did I run into that? Farfetch'd? Not Farfetch'd. Morning Brain. Slowpoke. Variants. New gyms? New gym leader? Are they doing their... More outfits, more clothes, more hairstyles and colors. Okay. A lot more. New clothing, new bags. Hats. Bike designs. More trainers, more gym leaders. I think that's just more trainers. More Pokemon! Oh, they're coming with the expanded decks! Oh my gosh! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Is that Mega Evolution? Or is that that's Gigantamax? The Isle of Armor. So where are they going? Is it north, south? It's a whole new part of the region. They're adding another section of the region. And new trainers, new gyms. And they're adding the... Are we getting other legendaries too? Oh! And variants? More variants? Oh, look at him! Ah! Oh, variants on legendaries? Those are completely new variants of legend. Okay, that's just straight up from Square Enix. Final Fantasy. Okay, we've seen this. You're retreading. They just maybe want to hit it home, or did the video just repeat? I feel like the video just repeated. Am I not? What's going on here? Something's going on with this video. Think they had a jut or accidentally repeated the same footage. Or maybe it's my computer loading. Let's see, are other people... Yeah, it's looped. Glitch! Glitch! But hey, we get to look at more of the designs again. There's something... They wanted to hide some of the designs. They're not maybe completely done with them. Or just they're trying to keep more surprises going. I like the visors. Yes, more Pokemon. And then we'll get into the... alternate versions, the Galarian forms, I assume, or are they like siblings of? Oh, here's game footage, just a snippet of it. The Crown Tundra. So are those two expansions for? Oh yeah, yep. Part 1, Part 2. So they're just selling you the whole pass right up front. Is this a new game? Or is this an expansion? Who is that? What? Those. New legendaries. They're expanding legendaries.
What did you think of this first look? The Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and the Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass will be composed of the Isle of Armor, planned to be released June 2020, and the
June?
Crown Tundra, planned to be released in fall 2020.
We got our year right there.
If you
Pokemon's
buy the
being
Pokemon
expanded.
Sword or Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, you'll be able to enjoy both as they're released. Each part offers a different adventure, where you'll be able to visit unseen areas of the Galar region and meet new people and Pokemon that live
More
there.
parts of the UK.
There are two versions of the expansion pass, one for Pokemon Sword and one for Pokemon Shield. Different Pokemon will appear in the different versions, and you'll also run into some different people and places.
So it
For
carries
hobby
on the
players,
same
continue
tradition.
with the classic Pokemon experience of trading with one another and working together.
Does that mean you have to
Now,
buy?
without further ado,
Does the
let's have the
expansion?
director himself present more information on the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra.
Two separate expansion
Mr.
passes. So
Tom?
if you own both, you have to buy two expansion passes. A bit money grabby, but hey, you know, it's more of the game you own. So
Hello, I'm Tani from Game Freak. I'm working as the director for the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass.
Tani-san.
The Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra are in development as we speak. So today, we'd like to show off some designs and concept art to help introduce you to these new areas.
Okay, show it to me. I'm ready to see where these are.
Galar are getting even bigger. First, let us introduce the Isle of Armor, which focuses on the theme of growth.
Growth.
Take a look.
Like footage or just design?
The next
Aspects.
destination in your adventure is a giant island off the shores of the Galar region known
'Kay.
as the Isle
So it's a
of
new
Armor.
island.
This island is
Awesome.
full of beautiful nature. You'll find beaches, bogs, forests, caves, and dunes. And of course, you'll find Pokemon that you couldn't previously find in Galar dwelling there too.
How
There's
big?
a dojo for Pokemon battles on this island.
Oh, it's a battle
You'll take up
dojo.
an apprenticeship under the Pokemon
Like the
trainer who runs it.
Battle manor or mansion.
This is Mustard, who will become your mentor. He's also
Mentor.
the mentor of Champion Leon, who you probably know quite well.
Oh,
In fact, Mustard has occupied the seat of champion
Mentor.
himself in the past. You'll also encounter new rivals among your fellow apprentices. When playing with the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass, you'll be training with Clara, who is a Poison-type user. When
oof.
playing with the Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, you will be training with Avery, who is a Psychic-type user.
Poison and
They're
psychic.
both training hard so they can someday
Okay.
have a gym and stadium to call their own.
Ready to beat you, Clara.
Next, we'd like to introduce the legendary Pokemon that will be central to the story. Cubfu.
Cub
It's a
food.
fighting-type Pokemon that strives to become stronger with single-minded dedication. As
That's
you progress
hilarious.
through your training, Mustard will entrust you with this Pokemon.
I already love Cub Fu.
Once you complete your training together with Cubfu, it will be able to evolve into Urshifu.
Is it a
Urshifu is
required
a
Pokemon that you have
with
through the
two
whole thing?
distinct styles. There is Single Strike style, a fighting and dark type style that delivers a single strike at blinding speed.
So is it like dual evolutions or
There is
just
also
fighting
Rapid Strike
style?
A fighting and
switches
water
between.
type style that focuses on unleashing a torrent of rapid strikes.
Okay, I do a lot of
What's
martial
more,
arts, and
it's
this
been
makes a lot of
revealed that
sense to me,
Urshifu
personally.
has a Gigantamax form.
Okay.
Each style will
So
have a
those were the
different move,
Gigantamax.
as well as a different G-Max move.
But
You'll be
in
able
the
to evolve your
styles.
Cubfu into an Urshifu in one of these two styles, Single Strike style or Rapid Strike style, during your adventure. Urshifu is a powerful Pokemon with
Oh.
a brand new ability, and it also has a new move for each of its two styles. Once you've completed your training, bring it with you for some online battles or official competitions.
Alright. I just hope it's not hand-holdy, just that
We also
Pokemon
want
going
to
through the
talk about
dojo
Rillaboom,
thing.
Cinderace, and Inteleon, final evolutions of the first three Pokemon you team up with in the Galar region. During your adventure in the Isle of Armor, these special partners in your teams will be able to Gigantamax.
So they gave him
You can look forward
Gigantamax
to seeing
forms.
Their new forms and new G-Max moves.
That's cool. He actually has a gun up on top of this
You
thing.
have
He's
even more in the
ready to
works.
snipe.
Your journey is as smooth and fun as possible.
Apricorns can be made into
There are new
Pokeballs.
fashion items, and you'll even be able to obtain new looks for your bike.
More design, more
Hope you
fill.
Look forward to the new experiences coming in the Isle of Armor.
And there was Blastoise and Venusaur. They just hinted at it. Just a little
Next,
bit.
I'd like to discuss the
So,
Crown Tundra. and
We'll,
secondary,
maybe we'll get into it.
which is
Maybe
a
they'll
theme
talk
of
about expanded
exploration.
decks.
I'm going to show you the information we have at the moment.
This expansion is set in the snow-swept realm of the Crown Tundra. Take a look for yourself at the beautiful scenery of this shining, silvery landscape.
And
As
this
it
is
turns
just
out,
going to
the
be
Isle of Armor
more
isn't the
design
only
looks.
uncharted
Yeah.
area waiting for you all in the Galar region. In this frigid area, with its towering winter mountains, people live in small communities that support and rely on each other. Much like on the Isle of Armor, you'll be able to find Pokemon that didn't appear in the Galar region before.
More
Fitting
Pokemon.
right in with this area's theme of exploration, there will be plenty for you to uncover. You might find a strange temple where you least expect it, or maybe spy a mysterious giant tree growing in a place it doesn't seem to belong. A certain person will appoint you as the leader of their exploration team in the Crown Tundra.
I'm getting stuffed up.
You can gear up for adventure, and then
So
head
this
out
one's
to
more
explore blizzard-swept
exploration.
fields and even deep inside Pokemon dens.
So that last one's going to be
Things you
more
could only
about
previously get
facing
exposed to
trials, kind of a
max
thing.
raid battles. Next, we'd like to introduce Calyrex, the legendary Pokemon you'll discover during your adventure.
Calyrex.
Legends say this Pokemon
Legendary
once ruled
goat.
over a part of Galar that included the Crown Tundra. It's characterized by its graceful, regal movements.
It's an
Get ready to
awkward-looking
experience
goat
a never-before-told story about the mysteries of Calyrex.
with the
Crown
Triforce on him.
Tundra will have a new form of co-op play as well.
Excuse
It'll
me?
allow you and friends to enter and explore Pokemon dens that exist underground in the Crown Tundra.
Dungeon crawling co-op.
You may see legendary Pokemon from past games Dynamaxing before your eyes.
Dynamaxing
You'll be able to
legend.
meet and make allies of all kinds of legendary Pokemon during your adventures in the Crown Tundra.
That's
The
everyone.
ones you'll be able to catch through this co-op.
All of them.
It also appears
And
that
they're
some
in
brand new
that
legendary
dungeon?
Pokemon are also
Why?
waiting to
But
be found
yes.
somewhere in this land.
Variants.
And
Variants.
combined with the Isle of Armor, dozens of new clothing items will be added. Plus, there will be new battles waiting for you to challenge once you complete your entire game, including the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. We can't go into the details of everything, but we're working on planning and developing new ways to enjoy Pokemon even as we speak.
I
The
love
Isle of
this
Armor and the
thought
Crown
process.
Tundra areas themselves are actually two key examples of the things we're working on. Both areas are in fact seamless maps, much like the wild area you can already experience in the Galar region, where players are able to move
They're
around
more
freely and
wild
freely.
areas.
Of course, you'll be able to connect with
Oh,
other
my
traders and
heart.
them too.
I love it.
Pokemon dens as well, and you'll be able to engage
It's
in
just-
max raid battles against Pokemon that haven't previously appeared in the Galar region.
It's not just new
There's more to
routes,
see and do
it's
on the Isle of
new
Armor and
wild
the
air.
Crown Tundra than there was even in the wild area. We'll bring you more information about
Slap
them
me in the
future
face and kill me with a
reports, so please stay tuned.
spoon. I'm in.
What did you
I
think?
love that idea. I love it.
We at Game Freak are all working hard to bring you new content, so you can spend more time having fun in the Galar region. We hope you're as excited as we are for what's to come.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Tani. On the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra, you'll
Let's see.
see some familiar Pokemon
How long are we in
that
here?
didn't appear in the Galar region before. There will be more than 200 Pokemon species that appear in these areas, and you can add to your team, including the legendary Pokemon mentioned before.
There we go. Expanded
Additionally,
decks.
We'll be distributing free updates for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield that will coincide with the releases of the Isle of Armor
Free
and the Crown
updates.
Tundra.
So there are free stuff.
These updates will allow people who don't have
Things.
the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion pass to obtain the Pokemon that appear on the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra through other means, such as trading.
Okay, yeah, you can get the
Players will
Pokemon
also
through
be able
trading
to
with
bring
people
over
that have the.
Pokemon to
Ooh,
their games from the cloud service Pokemon Home. As
Pokemon
long as
Bank
the
to Pokemon Home.
appear in the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion packs.
so far as the
Home
Pokemon
is planned
are
to launch
in the
February
expansion.
2020.
Okay, do we get to see more of that one? What
We
it's
intend
like?
to release even more details before then.
It's
so
coming
please
soon.
Wait just a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you're gonna wait on that.
Finally,
All
we
right,
have some
all
more
right.
news for our Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield players.
Okay.
Starting today, it seems like you're more likely to run into Gigantamax Colossal,
Okay.
Gigantamax Lapras, and Gigantamax Flapple or Gigantamax Appleton in max raid battles in the wild area.
Really?
Face these powerful Pokemon with your friends. There will also be a software update going live available later today. Once you've received the update, head to Wedgehurst Station. In Pokemon Sword, you'll encounter Clara. while
And it'll
in
be
Pokemon
invites
Shield,
for the
you'll run into
expansion.
Avery. You'll also encounter a Galarian Slowpoke that's wandered in from the Isle of Armor. You can try to catch it and
It's a
add it to your
fire
team.
type?
Galarian Slowpoke can evolve into Galarian Slowbro if you use an item that can be found on the Isle of Armor.
So you can't evolve
or
it
into
until you get to
Galarian
the
Slowking if
expansion.
you use an item that can be found in the Crown Tundra. Don't forget to
Both
check it out.
evolutions in both expansions.
What did you think?
Kind of an incentive. You
Today,
get something,
we've
you
finally
want to
been
earn
able
it.
to show you some of what we at
It's a little
Game Freak are
grabby,
hoping
but
to achieve
yeah.
Going forward. We hope we've been able to get you excited for the continuing adventures waiting for you.
You
on
did?
Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra.
Now I just need to know pricing.
Part offers a different adventure. We'll do our best to fill it to the brim with adventures like you've never experienced before.
I'd say $20 expansion. You get 2 different
Whether
wild
you're just
areas.
starting with Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield,
Probably about the price.
or you've done everything there is to do, we'll do our best to develop something that everyone can enjoy. Stay tuned for more updates in the future.
No, was that the whole direct? We're back
My
to him.
thanks to
Okay.
everyone from Game Freak. The Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, which contains both the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, will be available for pre-purchase on Nintendo eShop later today. You'll also be
It's
able to
half a
access-
game. And the looping caused it to be ahead of time. So, was that all the news? Did they have any one last minute things? Of course, people are freaking out. People's initial reactions tend to be negative right off the get go. See, can we?
also be able to act.
Also,
The-
all right, Nintendo. Maybe we go to their website. I can't type today. Not the Switch. Come on. There we go.
The Crown Tundra will be available for pre-purchase on Nintendo eShop.
I
later
mean, they're
today.
just streaming it from YouTube, so it's probably gonna have the same problem. It'll probably when they re-upload the video. Yeah, it's when they re-upload the video. F. Is it F for the stream being broken or people's opinions of the expansions? That was good. Come on. Glad I didn't buy a Switch. I've been playing Pokemon for 20. If you love Pokemon and you've been playing for 20 years and new Pokemon and stuff came out for the Switch, and you're like, glad I didn't buy it, it is a Pokemon experience. It's more of what you love. So, yeah, I think you should kind of look back on that. Yeah, people just want to express anger. And people want to have opinions. People that don't buy Switches won't buy Switches. You know, it's not because of one game in particular they don't buy it. It's not, oh, Pokemon Sword and Shield so controversial, I'm not getting that console. They're just not going to get that console. You can't tell me that that's the one reason you're not getting it. The console's been amazing. I love it. So let's see. Yeah, I thought it was really good. The expansions, they're adding more than 200 plus of the national decks, at least in the first portion. I don't know. We don't know how it's going to be parsed out, if that's between the two expansions or just 200 plus in the first one and the next one might have more. we're getting more, and they're there. They mentioned it. It's there. They're coming in. They have the designs. I mean, the designs have probably been there for a while now, and they're just parsing it out. Maybe they wanted just more incentive for the expansions because they would have at this point had planned on these expansions before. And when I started playing the game and I got to the wild area, I thought there would be more than one in the game. I thought, oh yeah, this area of the region has a wild area. Then I get to the next one, it has a wild area. Get to the next one, has a wild area. I didn't think it would be the same wild area expanding through the whole region, and you just kind of crisscross over it or under it or whatever throughout the entire game. So they took the whole concept of an open world game or portion of game, and they expanded and added more onto it. I like it. I like it a lot. That's the part that I loved. That's the part that really drew me to these new games. So I can see it being really successful for them. Having more new Pokemon coming out in the expansion's a smart idea. It means they're still creatively thinking of ways to draw people. The dex fillers, the people that are hunting down for the full complete decks, they'll be like, oh, well, might not have the full expanded decks yet, but we're getting some, and then we're getting new. I mean, maybe it's just the one new in that first expansion. Maybe there's some more. I don't know. But we're getting Galarian variants of Pokemon as well. And that second expansion, the Tundra with the co-op. Okay, the moment they put in co-op to Pokemon, I was sold. Like, I mean, I wasn't sold on buying the game the moment I knew it was co-op. I didn't know it was co-op until I got the game. And then suddenly, whoa, what? Friends! Whoa! Raid battles with friends. I loved it. It was amazing. And hands down, one of the best experiences I had with Pokemon and with a console. Like this console. Their online can definitely use some tweaking. And add some console chat. There's a lot of things they can do better. Nintendo's not entirely the best at that. But I've enjoyed it. Having a new expansion that gives me a new wild area, new Pokemon, expanded decks, a dojo to go through, a new rival, that kind of a whole kind of more story add-on. It's not a gym, like I was thinking of, like, what would you do with another gym if you already won the whole tournament and became the champion? No, this is going and being tutored and going through a dojo and kind of completing a whole new challenge. So that's unique. That's really cool. I hope it's not, like I said, not hand-holdy with that single Pokemon taking you through. Let's see if I'll pull that up here. Don't want to just show you guys my face the entire time. Come on, you can don't do this to me. Their stream is being really dumb. Video so they took the video down because of probably the problems with it. Oh, there it is. They're back. Let's see, did they finish it?
On the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra, you'll see some familiar Pokemon that didn't appear in the gallery. Encounter a Galarian Slowpoke that's wandered in from the Isle of Armor.
Okay, there was a little bit more at the
Try
end.
new things in 2020 to bring starting today. Wait for your game. From
Wait, so there was more at the end there. So $30 for the expansion.
You'll also be able to access Nintendo eShop directly from the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield menu once you install the latest update for your game.
It'll
As
be
a special
yelling at you for the
bonus,
expansion.
We've also prepared some clothing items that can be used starting today.
If you buy the pass, you get some
Pokemon
new
will continue
clothing
to try
items.
new things in 2020
Thank you.
to bring fun and joy to people around the world.
I love expanded games. I love when games can grow. So it's just that little bit at the end there. Okay. This thing. right here, Kubfu. Now, when it gets to this, I hope, I hope that it's not
It's a fighting.
handholdy, that this is the Pokemon you take through the dojo. I hope they give you this Pokemon, or you can catch it immediately when you get to the island, and you can choose to take it through the dojo, or you can have one of the expanded Dex Pokemon come back. Like, if I get a Squirtle, I will have a Ninja Turtle going through a dojo. But if they allow me to, use other Pokemon going through a dojo and having that challenge, I mean, Kubfu, I can understand why that would be the reason you go through. It's a very story element. It's very, very specifically designed for it. I just hope it's not. This is the only thing. Training just the single Pokemon, and it would kind of take you out of the whole experience of having a team, and you're just kind of this thing. I like the idea of styles. I know they kind of introduced that with the, I forget its name. I didn't catch it. I don't know why. The little Pikachu lookalike that can switch between evil looking and regular looking. They introduced it there, and then they brought in Kubfu with the new styles. And I wonder if that's an evolution type, or if it's the switching like the other Pokemon does, and if it's when you Gigantamax or Dynamax with that Pokemon in a specific style, that's the version you have Dynamaxed, or get Gigantamaxed. It kind of sounded like they were saying it's one or the other, so you might have to catch another one that could do the other. They've done that before. Yeah. Now let's talk about this. I love co-op modes. And they took the thought of the wild area, running around with other people and doing raids together. It's a dungeon. It's a dungeon crawl with a friend, or more than one friend. It looks like up to 3 friends with you, so 4 people at a time. That makes me excited more than anything right there. Like, I love co-op games. I love playing with friends. That's the reason I play games. I found myself, I played games growing up, but I found myself at the age I am, I'd rather sit down and play a game if it involves me having an experience with friends than it is just me and myself. My wife got me the Jedi Fallen Order for Christmas, and I didn't want to play it unless she was there with me. She loves watching the stories and seeing how it unfolds. And those are the kinds of games that she doesn't like to take on herself because they're challenging. They're a little overly challenging. So she just lets me play it, and she enjoys the story while I play it. And so I've kind of drawn to that fact that I love having somebody else there reacting to the game with me and live in person, just with me right there. And so I love it. And being with friends and experiencing that together. So it looks like it'll be like a raid dungeon. You go through, catch legendaries together with variants of those past legendaries, and that's every single legendary. They're treating us too much with this one. I think this one is the let's make people happy one. I don't know if they'll be tournament legal at all for all the competitive things, but hey, it's something. Yeah, he got
Adventures in the Crown Tundra.
all the legends return, every single one of them. They even have variants on some. that thing, and then the original trio. Chocobo. It's the Moltres, not Moltres, Zapdos. Zapdos is becoming ostrich. Like he's the most Chocobo I've seen of a Pokemon, and that's considering there's a Doduo trio. But like, if I could ride that, I would. Voltress. That I love the design. It's awesome. I love it because the last one was very much wings. I'm flying constantly. This one's I'm running around cruising. I'm a speed demon. I'm a road runner. Moltres. Now the variants on these, does that mean type differences? Would this be a dark fire type? And then ice psychic? That's what that looks like. Ice psychic. There's a very Wolverine with the eye thing, but it's like holier than thou. I am mighty Articuno variant. Like the laser beam. It's like he got meshed with the X-Men. And he's got Cyclops eyes, Wolverine style. He's just flying around. I wonder if he just like flies around like that. He just kind of hovers around being a psychic type with his wings folded. And then when he attacks, he just throws out ice feathers and just pierces things. And then when he's really mad, he just laser beam. I love it. I love it so much. And of course, yeah. That's just giving you other players to cosplay. Like that's just full on that girl. You can just be her. That looks too familiar to something else. Yeah. They're giving you a lot. Like they are packing it with a lot of stuff. The new legendaries, new areas, two wild areas. We don't know how expansive. The co-op experience alone, I would say, is worth the $15 for that one by itself to get a mystery dungeon. Well, not mystery dungeon, but like a cooperative friend play. You know, because I'm an MMO guy, not a turn-based MMO. Of course, I've talked about that, but if I can play with friends and have an experience with friends in a setting that I do enjoy, it just gets me one step closer to a Pokemon MMO. And I know Temtem is trying to be that, but it runs the risk of not having that nostalgia of those characters, those things. And I'm sure it's fun, and I'm sure it will be. I don't know if I'll play the Temtem game, but I stick to the things I love, and I know I could learn to love that, but I love Pokemon, and so much of things of my childhood were that I don't think I could share my love with a new whole expanded thing trying to be Pokemon, even though it is MMO with friends. If I can get Pokemon with friends more than I have now, sign me up, dot it away. Give me everything. Now, to say if this whole thing is worth... I mean, there's water to traverse. There's a full area. It doesn't really give you an idea of the full scope of the wild area. It looks like they give you passes. Like, they give you... Here's a wide area to be in. Here's a small pass to kind of fill in the gaps of data that we don't want to have to use, and then maybe another larger area over here, so maybe just be sparsed out. But it's price wise $30. I paid $60 for, well, I didn't, $60 for the full game with the whole route, the whole story, with one wild area that is massive. If that's the precedent we're going by, And these 2 wild areas can make up more ground than the 1 wild area in the main game. Then and with the new activities, the co-op, the dojo, the legendaries, the expanded decks, new Pokemon, it's okay. This gave me a new perspective thought. They're doing this instead of giving us an alternative like an alternate game, like when you got Sun and Moon and then you got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Yeah, to start the game over, it gave you a little bit more story, more legendaries. That was paying a full price for a full game. This is paying half the price to expand the game twice instead of having to buy a full brand new game, start from scratch. This lets you continue, or I mean, you can start from scratch anyways. Yeah. Depending on how well it performs. Sorry if I'm pop filter's not getting all the air. If it fills enough of the quota, 200 plus from the national decks coming in, give me the Pokemon I've wanted. Give me the Cubone, give me the Squirtle, I'll take Bulbasaur. Give me the things I've loved in the past, and give me things to do with them, like the dojo, the dungeon running. I'll take it, and I advise that it's a company, it's a people making a game that I love, and they're making a living, and I want to support it, and you people vote with their wallets. And that's the whole thing. No matter how much negative news was put onto Pokemon Sword and Shield, it still made bang money. So that means there's still high praise and high support for it that's not heard, because there's always that vocal community that drowns out the people who are actually enjoying it or wanting it. People that vote with their actions and less with their voices. So yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. All right. Rumors are there might be another Direct next week, Nintendo Direct. It's all kind of getting capped together with the Devil May Cry announcements that they were talking about on January 16th. If I can get Dante in DMC, or Dante in Smash Brothers, I will explode. I will. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. Like I said, I'm not doing this serious. It's just the thing I'm doing, getting my opinion out there, whether you want it or not. So, all right. Have a good one, guys. See ya.